Hello, my name is Christian Peterson. My PowerPoint is going to be on robots and automation. Um, the two ethical propositions I picked were sex robots and robot brothels and automation in the workplace. So to start with sex robots, the really big question with this is it ethical? My answer is it really depends on the person and the situation. For someone in a relationship, I still think it'd be cheating, but I think it's cleaner than normal prostitution. It's also safer since it's a robot. But at the same time, it just seems like there's something wrong about it. I just can't put my finger on it. Um, so one of the biggest articles I found on this was the robot brothel controversy in Houston, Texas. Some of the things I learned from this is that it's legal in the US and that there are no regulations. It would reduce the rate of real prostitution and sex trafficking. Another thing I saw a, a few people saying is that it could make the objectification of women worse. I think this could also apply to really both genders. I mean, there's not just going to be women sex robots, there will also be male sex robots. So I think that applies around the board, not just to women. Um, my conclusion for this one is that it's both ethical and unethical. That's really up to the person to decide. Robots aren't humans, and they won't be until they can think for themselves. So really, I don't see a problem with it in that regard. People in general have needs, and if it keeps people, from, doing dangerous things, I think that that can be a good thing. I think most of the complaints I saw were silly. Um, and, you know, what I said on the last page. I also found out something else, and that is that more women watch porn than men. So I think that there's a pretty big market for this on both ends. I don't think it's just, a man thing. I think it's also a women thing, whether they would like to admit it or not. I think it just goes on both ends. Like I said, people have needs. Um, the second one was automation in the workplace. It has pros and cons. This is true for the employer and the employee. Um, and then the next few slides will explain my pros, cons, and my thoughts. So the pros, um, it would help with the labor shortage. It could get rid of small menial tasks, like ones that nobody really wants to perform. Um, Safer work environments. Like if it's automated, obviously there's nobody there to get hurt, so it could take over dangerous jobs like that. More production capacity. So of course, with robots comes, they don't need breaks, they don't need lunch, any of that, so they can put out, more products. Um, and then of course for the employer, it cuts the costs of employees because they don't have to hire as many people for as many jobs when they have robots doing them. Let's move on to the cons. For the cons, more pollution, and we're already in a dying world. Less versatility. Employees can do more things than a machine. We have hands, we can think, as where a machine cannot. Um, Middle class job loss, and then a huge cost in money. These costs can also be unknown and unpredictable, and this is a con for the employer. And then it could also, as well as helping with the labor shortage, it could also rise unemployment in some areas as well, mostly with the middle class. my conclusion for this one is I think like all things, it's good until it goes too far. What I mean by this is that, like having automation here and there to do more dangerous or menial tasks is a good thing, but once we start automating everything, where are people going to work? How are people going to make money and make a living, and maybe, the whole world will be automated and nobody will have a need to do that, but that would just be a boring world. I mean, I couldn't imagine sitting at home all day doing nothing on my ass. I just think that would be miserable and it would definitely rise depression rates. Um, I think that the pros outweigh the cons in most aspects. I think this is true until it goes too far. And I think to stop this from going too far, I think that we need laws and regulations to protect workers and just, the interest of humanity in general, because um, robots could become a very dangerous thing. This is my citations. I found a majority of my work on almost actually all of it on these two very informative articles, which helped me a lot with this project. And that's it. Thank you.